I feel like I say this pretty often, but today's video is a video that I love to make. We're talking about 5 watch brands that get no love, not even from watch collectors. Although these are historic brands that are really designed well, very well made, and actually luxury watches on the secondary market don't sell for good prices. So I'm going to go through 5 brands. There are a lot more out there that I can talk about, but I'm going to talk about the 5 brands that I think are some of the best values on the secondary market. If you pay attention to the news, you might have heard that Karl F. Bucher are closing their doors. When Rolex bought the Bucher brand, they have decided to basically shut down Karl F. Bucher. Karl F. Bucher is the in-house brand for the Bucher boutiques. They make very high quality watches. They already sold for a very good discount on the secondary market, and for one reason or another, Rolex made the decision to cut them off and no longer make these watches. I'm putting Karl F. Bucher on this list because as their inventory hits the market, I highly recommend keeping a search on your eBay or your Chrono24. Keep an eye out for falling prices on a lot of their modern models. Now, a lot of their vintage models already sell for very good prices. Some of their neo vintage sell for very good prices. Even those will eventually fall in price as well as the new watches flood the market. Those vintage versions will also fall in price as the inventory widens. So definitely keep your eyes open. They make peripheral rotor watches like the Monero peripheral, which is an amazing watch that sells for around $7,000 or $8,000. They already sell for around $3,000 on places like eBay, and they will be falling as more of those hit the market. Take a look at their calendar versions. They made highly complicated versions of this watch as well. The Neo Vintage, the Petravi Evo Tech, is also a peripheral rotor that comes in a square case. I talked about that watch recently here on my channel. A very weird but very cool watch that gets a big date and a power reserve and a lot of other functionality. The Travel Tech has always been a favorite of mine, although a very large watch. You get multiple time zones. You get a little window on the side of the watch that is a sapphire crystal. You can see the movement inside. Very cool watch. Very underrated in my opinion in general. Karl F. Bucher make excellent watches that are really nice. If you ever felt a Karl F. Bucher in hand, you would be impressed. They are very high quality and they do sell for a very good price on the secondary market. You guys know I'm always complaining about marketplaces like eBay and Chrono24. Today's video is sponsored by Chronogs, a new marketplace that is dedicated to the enthusiast. Started by John P. of the John P. Watches YouTube channel. This new enthusiast-based marketplace is exclusively for selling your watches, and right now, if you sign up with Chronogs, there are 0 fees, buying or selling. So that means you're going to get a better price when you're buying and more money when you're selling because there are no fees currently on Chronogs. And also, if you sign up right now for a free account on Chronogs, by June 15th, you are automatically entered to win a Tudor Black Bay watch. All you have to do is sign up for a free account on Chronogs. Again, that is chronogs.com. Definitely check out their website for more information on the giveaway and giveaway details. The next brand on this list is Ebel. Ebel have been around for a very long time and they have a very distinctive design. They also have a pretty good history. Ebel was founded in 1911 in Switzerland by a husband and wife team, Eugene Blum and his wife, Alice Levy. The name brand Ebel is an acronym of their initials. Ebel has a rich history, having supplied watches to the British Royal Air Force during World War II. They are known for their sport collections. All of their watches have a very distinct design, like I was saying, and even their sports watches. So it goes through all of their lineup of watches. They are instantly recognizable. All of their watches, especially the ones from the 80s into the early 2000s, have an organic case shape that is very distinctive and instantly recognizable as Ebel. Same goes for their high quality bracelets. They have some very beautiful bracelets that they pair with these very distinct cases. They also used high-end movements in many of their watches from manufacturers like Zenith and the El Primero. They used La Manna chronographs. They also had a perpetual calendar chronograph as well, which was pretty awesome. And they also used Frédéric Paget, which again is a very high-end movement manufacturer. In addition, of course, for some of their time-only models, some of their more simpler models, they used ETA movements, which is definitely not a bad thing. Usually they used higher grade movements, ETA movements in those cases. The next brand on this list is a personal favorite. I currently own one of their watches. It's a very, very strange watch, and I'll talk about that one in just a few minutes. This is Ventura. Now, I'm not talking about Hamilton Venturas. This is a brand called Ventura. They were born in the 1980s. Ventura was all about modern design and precision. All of their watches had a very modern look and were very precise, no matter the movement that they were using. Mostly relying on chronometer certified ETA movements and high precision auto quartz or quartz movements that powered their watches. Very sleek designs, avant-garde designs is what I would say, and all of them instantly recognizable as Ventura. The watch that I have is a very strange watch called the Spark MGS. It's an auto quartz. It looks like a boomerang or a mini disc player. I've heard in the past people say that. You have a digital display that has a bunch of different functions. That's in one screen. And then on the other side of that boomerang case, there is a display window for the auto quartz. Now, auto quartz are actually high precision quartz movements that were essentially like kinetic movements. However, they were made by the ETA group. These are good-looking movements that sort of look like an ETA 2892. So they're higher-end movements, and these were pretty expensive movements that they used. And like I said, Ventura also used high-end ETA movements like the 2892, and those were usually chronometer certified. All of their designs extremely clean. Their cases very, very clean. I liken them to one of the first independent brands, really, because they had their own design language. They were doing something completely different. When everybody was going in one direction, they went in the other direction and made something that I think a lot of people really love, but unfortunately, they didn't make it and they went out of business. Now, you could still buy their watches. I bought one on eBay. They sell for a very good price, a fraction of their original MSRP, and compared to the amount of quality and the design that you're getting, these are an excellent value. Now, I couldn't make a video like this without bringing up one of my favorite bargain luxury watch brands, Eterna. Eterna have an incredible history, 160-year-old watch company, and of course they are Swiss, and they're famous for a few different things. One, Thor Heyerdahl, who sailed from Peru to Polynesia using only the Pacific winds and the currents to propel him on his balsa wood raft that he actually made. And all this, he did this whole sailing with an Eterna on his wrist. From this, obviously, Eterna capitalized that and they came up with the watch, their dive watch, the Kontiki, a legendary dive watch, and there have been many different militaries that have used Kontikis in the past. But they also expanded from there. I have a Royal Kontiki in my collection right now. That's an integrated bracelet version of the Kontiki. You get an in-house movement. I believe they only made these in GMTs. I have a DLC form. These are in-house GMTs that you can get for under $1,000 on eBay if you're patient. I paid $600 for mine. That is pretty incredible. I also owned a 44mm version of the Kontiki with a loomed bezel. It was an awesome watch, really well made. I sold it for the wrong reasons, but an incredible watch as well. And then there is the Advantic, which is another watch that, yes, I own. This comes on an ostrich leather strap. It has a beautiful case with lines that go through the side of the case. You have a GMT movement as well, a small seconds. It's just a beautiful watch. There's a lot of little details in these watches, like the ball bearings in the logo. They put those into the crown and then they lacquer over it. It's just really well made, beautiful watches, in-house movements if you want them. and they sell for excellent prices. Again, that Advantic, which is gorgeous, I bought that watch for around $650. So giving you the idea here, you could actually buy an in-house GMT for next to nothing compared to what you would pay for a watch like this from a brand with an in-house movement. The last brand on this list is a brand that does not get a lot of love, and I'm not entirely sure why. However, their watches do sell for a very good price on the secondary market. They're already somewhat affordable, even at MSRP. I'm talking about Alpena. Alpena were founded in 1883. Now, they went out of business during the quartz crisis. Frederic Constant bought them and revived the brand, and they've been making pretty decent watches ever since. And they do sell for incredible prices on the secondary market. Since Alpena have been making fairly priced high-end watches already, they sell for such good prices on the secondary market. You can get these watches on places like Amazon even. So there's the Alpina Sports Swiss GMT. So this is a quartz GMT that is very, very good looking that you can get for around $500. One of my favorites is the Start Timer. It's a pilot's watch, or at least inspired by a 1920s pilot's watch. It gets a Hunter display case back. It's powered by a Sellita SW200 or an ETA 2824, something like that. And these cost around $600. They're awesome. And then if you want a really cheap watch, maybe a beater, maybe you don't want to wear a G-Shock. Like me, I don't wear too many G-Shocks, but maybe you also like a Tissot Touch, but maybe you're not really into Tissot, or maybe you like a Breitling Aerospace, but you don't want to spend all that money. Take a look at the Alpina X. This is a analog digital, not a smartwatch, but it's something like a Tissot Touch. It's just a more informed watch, I guess is what you would call it. They're on the larger side. They have a resin case, but they are really good looking and they are super cheap on places like eBay. You can get these for around $200. Really a great watch for $200. I highly recommend them. I've owned a couple throughout the years. And then last but not least is the Start Timer World Timer. I know it's kind of a weird name. This is quartz, but it is really good looking, and I love World Timers. This is a GMT, and again, these are around $500. So lots of options on this list. If you want to spend between $500, maybe even $200 on that Alpina X, up to around $3,000 or $4,000, you're getting an incredible watch though. You can get a peripheral rotor for around $2,000, and like I said, watch those prices on Carl F. Bucher because they will be falling. And all the other brands here have steadily been affordable for many years on places like eBay and Chrono24. So definitely check them out. And of course, if you are interested, Chronograbs also has some of these brands on their website right now, so I definitely recommend checking them out because they are offering no fees currently, and you could also enter to win that Tudor Black Bay, which they're offering until June 15th, so definitely check out their website. I'll put a link down in the description. Anyway, guys, that is my video. Tell me what you think about the 5 brands that I mentioned in the video. Would you add a brand to this list? I know there are plenty of other brands out there. Dunhill is one of them. I would even say vintage Bulovas, maybe from the 90s. The Accutron Bulovas that they made were excellent watches as well. There are plenty of other brands that I would add to this list, but I definitely will make more videos like this. Tell me what brands you think I should add to this list, and maybe I will include it in a future video. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. That's really it. I will catch you guys in the next video.